1975 was the year we officially lost the Vietnam War while the country was still reeling from Watergate and Nixon's resignation. When the world turns upside down like that, people are drawn to something they can hang on to, and a lot of folks turn to religion and spirituality. Operations like the Jesus People movement and the whole New Age thing started gaining momentum, and there was a corresponding rise in people going to psychics. Whatever one may think of all that, the fact is it was prime hunting ground for fakes. Set yourself up with a good enough gimmick and you could fleece people all day long and get rich. Do I believe any of these people can reach the dead? No. Do I believe some of these people can really reach something? Yes. That's the scary part. They have no idea what they're screwing with. Do I believe the overwhelming majority are fakes? Absolutely. In fact, let's meet one now.
Senator Hanover invited me along. Albert Hanover, Senate floor leader, a tower of pragmatism for 40 years on the Washington scene. Besides the senator and me, there were 4 others, all important people.
This one seems to be psychic to the big wheels in D.C.
I recognize one of us is burdened with sorrow. Senator, give me your hand. I'm going to try to reach your wife.
That's Ernest Sheed, the psychic. The man playing him holds a special place for me. In 1966, Marvel Comics branched out into TV with the Marvel Superheroes series. They were low budget and a little cheesy, and don't worry, we'll be looking at those eventually. The heroes chosen for the cartoons were Captain America, of course, the Hulk, Submariner, Thor, and my favorite, Iron Man. When they needed the perfect voice for Iron Man / Tony Stark, they called on veteran character actor John Vernon. This guy didn't lack for work his whole career, and his list of credits reads like somebody's daily calendar of stuff to do. And much to my shock, except for one episode of Coronet Blue, which of course I didn't go into detail about, this is the first time we've seen him here. I'm probably going to spend a good part of the day wondering how that happened. In any case, we're making up for it now.
Margaret.
Yes, Albert?
Hey.
Don't be troubled, Albert. I know you're concerned with your responsibilities. The voting coming up in the Senate. But sometimes, Albert, things are different than we thought.
They talk a little, and her main concern is telling him how to vote on certain bills coming up. He wants to zig, she's telling him she can see the future and he needs to zag. Gee, that's not obvious. Nope. And conveniently, she fades away before he can ask too many questions.
What she referred to, what the apparition of Margaret Hanover referred to, was the energy development bill coming up on the Senate floor next week.
Well, I thought there was a comfortable majority in the Senate supporting it.
There was. But Albert Hanover's been leaning in a different direction since that first seance.
You mean he's changing his mind about the bill?
I mean his wife. His dead wife, through that fake spiritualist, is changing his mind for him.
Check the spiritualist's pockets. Whose money is in there and how do they stand to gain from the senator changing his mind?
But why?
Because there are people who want the bill killed. People who stand to lose billions of dollars if new energy sources are discovered. We're not sure if it's an international money group, the Arabian oil cartel, or even our own national petroleum interests.
Told you. Even in 1975, there are lots of ways to find out who it is and put a stop to it. The Klae Resource is about to become one of those ways. Some psychic research outfits have investigated Sheed and concluded he's for real.
This was taken before her death.
Who's that?
Andrea Hanover, an only daughter. Seems that she and the senator never did see eye to eye.
He hasn't seen her in 10 years, but she and Kate look similar enough that with a few touches, Kate might pass for her. If Sheed accepts her identity and calls up her fake mother, they have their proof. Because Andrea is also dead. She died in an accident in the Andes 2 weeks earlier. Incidentally, if Andrea looks familiar to you, think WKRP, Burt Reynolds, and lots of other stuff. That's pre-WKRP Lonnie Anderson, still sporting her naturally black hair. She was just getting started in television and had done less than half a dozen parts. Considering she's dead in this one, I'm not sure it should even count, but a credit is a credit, and early on you take what you can get. She got noticed real quick, and not just for her body. She'd already been a beauty queen, as if that comes as a shock to anybody, but she wanted to be known for more than just big aspirations. The role of Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP gave her the chance to do that, and to this day, Jennifer is an example of the strong, smart woman who can nevertheless waggle her hips a little and knock you off your feet from 10 feet away.
How are you going to wear your hair?
I don't know. This?
No.
This? This?
I love it.
Get out.
These two have chemistry, there's no doubt about that. And watching their little interactions like this is a big part of what makes the show fun. But there's no time for being silly right now. We have a psychic to catch.
Andrea?
Yes, Margaret. It's Andrea. She wants to talk to you.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Uh-oh, I think I know what the problem is.
I am Andrea Hanover. There is an imposter here. I died in Peru. Who takes my name?
Yeah, the problem is he does his homework. He already knew about Andrea.
Who are you?
We don't want imposters here.
Okay, I can dig that, but isn't the gun a little excessive? What are you hiding that you're willing to shoot someone over? If the whole thing is legitimate, you have nothing to fear even from an imposter. I have a feeling he just tipped his hand. Kate claims they're from some psychic research outfit and they're checking him out as a candidate for a very large cash grant or something. He's skeptical, but Daniel says, "My wife is a practitioner. She's been doing lots of experiments with levitation and telekinesis." Sheed says, "Show me."
Here? Now?
Why not?
Well, I could try, Mr. Sheet. But I really think I ought to be alone in here. I wouldn't want anyone to think I was being helped.
As I've said before, sometimes it's almost too easy. She stalls while Daniel disrobes, then she says, "I'll open the door first." Now that the preliminaries are over, let's get on with this. He says, "I need one more test, a real test." Turning a doorknob and lifting heavy jade carvings weren't real tests, you understand. I always love it when the bad guys make up the rules as they go along. He has William sit down and says, "Lift him and the chair." Now, my only experience with telekinesis comes from the X-Men, so I don't know how much things like the weight of an object factor into it. Kate thinks it's too much. But again, Sheed is inventing these rules in a desperate bid to decide she's a fake. If she can lift Williams, she can come to the seance with Senator Hanover the following evening. That's kind of the goal, so here goes. Let's call that close enough for who it's for, shall we? He's duly impressed and she's in for tomorrow night. Let's go join Daniel in the garden. We spend a good amount of time in this series watching him take his clothes off and put them back on again, but hey, we're paying for these blue screen effects and by gum we're gonna use them. Plus it is, the name of the show.
You really missed your calling. That was some show you put on.
You kind of hammed it up yourself.
Hammed it up? No, that was for real.
He's going to have some seriously aching muscles in the morning, but now it's time for the big question.
Dan,
What?
how'd he do it? How did he make Senator Hanover's wife appear like that? And then Andrea Hanover, how did he know she was dead? How did he know to make her say those things to me?
How he knew about Andrea is easy. Walter said she'd been found 2 weeks earlier, so the senator, as her next of kin, undoubtedly knew about it. He wouldn't have any reason not to tell Sheed. How he did all that is another matter. Kate is about half convinced he's for real. That's why they have to be at the seance tomorrow night.
That's him.
So our information is correct. They work for the Klae Corporation.
So?
I don't have to remind you of the enormous accomplishments of the Klae Resource.
Yes, but...
No buts.
What does he mean by that? We'll just have to wait and find out. But this proves one of my main points. He has way more sources of information than anybody imagines. They're the key to his operation. For him, knowledge really is power.
Do you know anyone who drives an orange pickup?
No.
Oh, that's what he meant. Williams runs them off the road.
Dan?
What is it?
I'm not sure. It happened all so fast. But I could swear that was Williams. Oh, let's go home, please.
If they shook things up enough that Sheed is trying something like that, they know they're on the right track. That was a foolish move. He said himself that the Klae Resource is already almost legendary, so if its keepers disappear, what does he suppose the powers behind them are going to do?
You were inefficient?
I could have sworn they were headed for a crack-up. He has to have sensational reflexes.
These people are dangerous. Besides, we have a large fee at stake. Not to mention our security.
I understand what you mean, sir.
What he's saying is, if you can't do it right, do it again. Now. Daniel and Kate are home unwinding. Walter calls with more information about Sheed's operation. He's practically a lobbyist. He gets members of Congress voting the way he wants them to, and nobody can figure out how to stop him. Williams is another matter.
Oh, that could be a break. He was in show business. Show business? Yep, he was an impressionist, a mimic. Did all kinds of voices, males, females, movie stars.
Add a few lessons in ventriloquism, and there's the answer to how they do the voices. That just leaves the question of the projections. They'll both be at the seance, though nobody except Kate will know Daniel is there.
You know, those images have to be projections, holograms. Now, where were the lights in the seance room?
There weren't any, just the candlelight.
Well, there were wall lamps.
And the chandelier, but they were all turned off when the candle was lit.
The chandelier.
Oh, that chandelier. Stunning. I was thinking of getting one for our dining room. The way it sparkled and...
The chandelier.
And now they have a viable theory that they can test, once they take care of a more immediate issue.
What is it?
Spear the devil? It's Williams.
Now what's he up to?
I don't know, but there's no harm in finding out. Pardon me while I take my head off.
That is easily my favorite line in the whole series. He delivered it with such a casual, light-hearted tone I couldn't help but laugh out loud. David McCallum was the perfect choice for this role for precisely that reason. He's pretty well unflappable, and even when he's backed into a corner, he maintains that steady, unshaken demeanor that says, I know something you don't. He's sabotaging the brake lines. Good thing Daniel is right there next to him watching everything he does. My mistake. Daniel is assisting him. Williams finishes his work and drives away, probably patting himself on the back for being so clever. Meanwhile, Daniel finds a wrench in the trunk and puts everything back together. Now let's talk about being clever.
What's so funny?
Well, you know, we've been thinking of buying a new car.
Mm-hmm.
What kind would you like Walter to buy us?
A small blue one.
Well, you know, after what Williams just did, our brakes could go at any minute. Why shouldn't we help him?
I love it.
That is clever. And they're crazy to be driving that gas guzzler anyway. The Arab oil embargo of 1973 made gas prices shoot up to an impossible level. We had the long lines and stations running out of gas and all the rest, and the government has them driving a Continental. Your tax dollars at work. Next, I'll hear somebody say, high gas prices? It was like $1 a gallon. Imagine paying that now. And they're correct about the price. The part they aren't saying out loud is the median American income was also less than $20,000 a year. If you made $2,000 a month, that was big money. When you start getting nostalgic for those prices, you got to remember the other side of the coin too. I don't blame Kate for wanting a little blue car either. Better mileage, and the basic black on that Continental is boring.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gide. You'll have to carry on without me. My brakes, they're very mushy. I'm going to find a service station.
Setup complete. Let the sting begin. Daniel finds a convenient cliff and sends the car off it, where it crashes at the bottom in a fiery heap. The authorities can't find a body, but they assume it was completely incinerated.
Mrs. Weston, I guess it was meant to be. And meant that we weren't to have a seance today.
I'm so sorry. Ow!
Miss Weston?
Something stung me. A little bug in my ear.
I think that little bug is telling you to get on with the next part of the plan.
Mr. Gide, did you mean what you said earlier?
Of course. What did I say?
If there's anything you could do for me, I should ask?
Of course. Just ask me.
Hold the seance.
Hold the seance? After this tragedy?
And let me talk to Dad.
Since it only just happened, Daniel might still be around, so it's even easier, yes?
I'm afraid, Miss Weston, this is out of the question. I mean, under these conditions, his spirit in transition. Besides, it would be too traumatic for her. She's emotionally overcome.
Oh, why not try, Gide?
I don't know, ask Williams. The senator is starting to ask some uncomfortable questions.
I'm sorry, I must decline. I'm psychically disturbed. Another time.
Oh, nonsense, Gide. I say, let's try.
He's disturbed, all right. I have a feeling that's what Kate was thinking when she almost laughed. The senator isn't buying his lame excuses, let's just go do this. Under pressure, she finally agrees to try. They pile into his car. What about Daniel? Old open-top cars often had an extra seat back there. Polite people called it a rumble seat. People with family dynamics like mine used to be called it a mother-in-law seat. It's a good thing nobody noticed Kate's little smirk. It could have given her away, but you can't blame her. She just told Williams to only do the voice. It's time.
Daniel Weston. Daniel Weston. It is your wife who seeks you.
I am here.
Can you appear for her?
It is not possible.
Let's mess with their heads.
Dan?
Yes? I'm here, Kate.
But somebody is answering for me.
She'd keep sneaking glances at Williams, but Williams isn't paying attention. Somebody is stealing his act.
Kate, my accident was not an accident. It was murder.
It's amazing how well Williams does that voice, isn't it, Mr. Sheed?
I was murdered by Williams. The hydraulic system was sabotaged by Williams.
No!
And Ernest Gide, who gave the order.
But he's not done. He has something to tell the senator, too.
Margaret is here, Senator. She wants to talk to you.
Williams!
Things are not what they seem, Senator. Margaret cannot appear this way. Watch the chandelier.
He starts moving the crystals around and the image ripples just as you'd expect.
Williams, the lights! There are evil spirits here. Animus is all around us.
Whatever that's supposed to mean, he and Williams are the only evil spirits in this room.
We are too close to death.
Right you are, Ernest Gide. Too close to my death. The death you arranged through Williams. Like the candle flame, Ernest Gide. Confess. You murdered me.
This is too much for him. He screams some more about evil spirits and flees the room.
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
But don't worry, if he decides to deal with you the same way, he'll go get a proper axe. He won't try to do it with the key.
Now, there was an old woman that had 3 sons, Jerry and James and John. Jerry was hanged, James was drowned, John was lost and never found. And there was an end of her 3 sons, Jerry and James and John.
That's a new one to me. It first appeared in print in 1815 in a heavily illustrated edition, but its history before that is difficult to trace. It's listed as a nursery rhyme, though anybody who recited something like that to their baby should be reported. If this stuff is what 18th and 19th century English kids grew up on, no wonder they were such a mess. Daniel is relentless. More nursery rhymes, throwing things around the room, all the while chanting, "Confess, confess, confess."
From beginning to end, it was a fake. Sorry, Senator. It was a projection.
She's explaining the projector, Williams, and all the rest.
Weston.
Yes, Mr. Gide. I managed to get out of the car before your brakes failed.
So it was all a trick.
Of course.
He should know all about tricks.
How did you do it?
And with an open mind, Mr. Gide, all things are possible.
I mean, I know she's telekinetic.
Oh my word, he's not just a fraud, he's a believer and a wannabe. That explains why he sold out.
But I've never seen such a virtuoso effort. Mrs. Weston, how did you do it?
When I write my memoirs, Mr. Gide, I'll reveal all.
The main thing is his control over Congress is done. The senator acknowledges his mistake and talks about how much he wanted to believe. I get it. I would love to talk to my dad again. Ain't gonna happen. Gone is gone, and we won't see them again in this life. I like the way King David put it when Bathsheba's baby died. I'll go to him, but he won't return to me. But for now, when I find myself in a situation where I have to make a decision, most often I ask WWPD, what would Pop do? That was the senator's problem. He was asking the wrong question. He was asking WWMCUBAPPD, what would Margaret conjured up by a phony psychic do? Not only is it asking the wrong questions of the wrong people, there's no way you're going to fit that on a bumper sticker. (1975) was the year That's Ernest Sheed. The senator is starting to ask some uncomfortable questions. Somebody is stealing his act. That's pre-WKRP Lonnie Anderson.